You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 103. I am one of your hosts, Christian Macias, and I'm joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM, as well as the pride. Oh, I'm sorry. He's not here today. He is not here today. The Nintendo aficionado, Roro. How you doing?
Doing good.
Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN, and you'll find us on there, as well as on twitch.tv/podcastpxn. The topic of this show this week is our predictions for the PlayStation Showcase. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Our first news story comes over from Eurogamer. The Game Boy and Game Boy Color titles are reportedly coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Guys, are there any... First of all, what do you think of this news? And two, are there any games that you would like to see available that are not Pokemon? I'm kidding. It can be Pokemon.
Great question.
That's literally the first thing that came to my mind was when you said Game Boy games was Pokemon Yellow, Red, and what's the other one? I always forget. Blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those would be the only things that I would even be looking forward to. I think that was literally the only games that I played on my Game Boy when I had it back in the day, or at least the only ones that I can remember. I don't even remember any other Game Boy games. Like, they're literally escaping me right now. And maybe I'm crazy and my childhood was filled with just Pokemon on my Game Boy. But yeah, I can't think of anything else.
No, dude, like, I can tell you tons of Game Boy Advance titles that I would want to see. Yeah. But like, as far as Game Boy Color, I immediately went to Pokemon Yellow. And then I was like, what else did I play on it? I can't remember.
Yeah. But they're such good games. They're freaking iconic Pokemon games that, that was pretty much where the series got, their legs, so to speak.
Yeah. What about you, Ro?
Yeah, I think this is great news, and I hope it does come to light. I'm like you, Christian, where I saw this news, and I even tweeted it like, oh yeah, bring Game Boy Advance games, and there's like no news of that. I just got super excited of the potential of Game Boy Advance games coming, but they're talking about the previous Game Boy, so I was kind of disappointed by that. But yeah, Pokemon's a person that comes to mind for me as well that I would like to have. Even Pokemon Pinball would be cool. But yeah, besides that, I am Game Boy Advance games in my head. I could again list a bunch of Game Boy Advance games that I'd love to come to the Switch, but Game Boy, I got nothing. But I think this is a good step in the direction for that to possibly happen someday. But
sure.
Yeah, I think this is awesome.
Yeah, there's 80 NES games right now and 50 SNES games, so I don't know how many a combination of Game Boy games we'd be getting, but like with the Switch being portable, like that just seems right up its alley to have like that catalog of games available for people. So that's awesome. I'm very excited to see what's going to come that way. We'll see if I stick with any of them or even try some of them out, because I know I'm not good at trying out some, or just dipping my toes in here and there on like some Nintendo Switch Online games and not really sticking to them. But I mean, yeah, we'll see.
Indeed.
Guys, moving on. We've got some PlayStation news, a little bit convoluted this week, so I'm going to catch you up to speed here. There was an update that went up earlier this week on those who pre-ordered Horizon Forbidden West, either on PS4 or PS5. On September 2nd, the Horizon Forbidden West support page indicated there would be no upgrade path from PS4 to PS5 unless you bought either the collector's edition or the deluxe version of the game. If you had bought in the standard version of Horizon on PS4, and then later, for whatever reason, wanted the PS5 version of that game, you would have to pay full retail, which would mean another $70. PS5 games cost more than they do on PS4, right? There was backlash on Twitter, rightfully so, and Sony kind of backtracked on that. And on the PlayStation blog, unveiled plans that it is instead offering a free upgrade from the PS4 to the PS5, as they originally stated back last year, I believe, when they were announcing their like launch slate of games. Obviously, Horizon has pushed past that, but they're going to include it since they already said originally that they were going to offer it for free. So they're doing that now. Additionally, any future first-party titles will see a $10 upgrade option for both physical or digital games from PS4 to PS5. Ro, what are your thoughts on the new policy on Sony rectifying this issue?
I'm glad that they did rectify it and make it to where they kept their promise, I guess, and making it a free upgrade. I think that's great that they backtracked on that. Crazy that they even made the mistake in the first place, but great that they backtracked on it. I think that I think it's good that they have a solid rule now that if you get a game, you pay $10. Not that I necessarily agree with it, but I'm glad that there's we don't have to guess anymore. Like that's the thing going forward. $10 if you want to upgrade. I think what Xbox has with smart delivery, as much as I don't think we were bagging on it like this group, but I know like when it was first announced, like it was so confusing to us, but now it's just so simple. Like if you have it, you can play it on Xbox, you play it on PC, you can play it anywhere, and it's still crazy to me that Sony hasn't figured that out yet, especially with their bigger titles like Horizon. But yeah, I'm glad that they have a rule, but I just hope that we eventually get to the point where it's just as simple as Xbox's idea.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, obviously, once we get to a certain point, like this won't matter anymore, right? Because they're not going to support PS4 forever. But
sure,
like the problem to me with this is like this has gotten so convoluted now. If you buy the PS4 version of the game, you can get it for $60, or you can buy the PS5 version of the game for $70. Why the hell would you buy it for $70 when you can buy the PS4 version and get a free upgrade? Why the I want to say why the F, but why would you do that? That doesn't even make sense. Like you're literally
dude, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you're literally charging people $10 more for no reason. You're just like, here you go. Yeah, pay $10 more and you don't get the last gen version, but like it makes no sense whatsoever. But like to me,
really, PlayStation didn't think of that either.
To me,
dude, that's awesome. Pay more and you don't get this.
Right? Okay. Exactly. It makes no sense. But to me, that's the bigger problem with what Sony's approach is with cross-gen games in general. Like, I understand their price increase to $70 because other publishers have done that, even though Microsoft hasn't done that yet. I think they will eventually. But other publishers have made that $70 price point. But, like, you need to make your $70 price point across the board. Like, it doesn't matter that it's a PS4 game. It's the same game. Like, PS4, PS5, whatever you're playing on, it is the same game. It may run better and look better on PS5, but does that mean that it should be $10 difference from the PS4 version? It's just very... Their whole messaging behind cross-gen games has been very confusing since the PS5 launch, in my opinion.
Like Rose said, though, I'm very happy that there's finally some sense of consistency.
Yeah.
Because before this, it was mad confusing. Like, the mental gymnastics you would have to do, like, let's be real. Like, sure, you could figure it out, but you would have to look at a spreadsheet and kind of plan out the route of the upgrade path, which is kind of ridiculous when you consider, as you guys were both saying, like, it just works on Xbox. Like, why Sony hasn't figured this out is beyond me. But, I mean, they haven't figured out a lot of things, but... Like that's a separate discussion. I still can't get over the fact that we're paying more for a game when you don't get the last version of the game. Yes. I'm gonna have to think about that some more later. That's hilarious.
That literally, like, that reminds me of stuff like, for instance, this is what we talked about when we were talking about the Avengers game getting less content for the same price. It's the same thing. Like, you're not getting Spider-Man on other platforms, PC, Xbox, but you're getting it on PlayStation for no additional charge. So, like, you're getting an extra piece of character in that game, and like characters are big in that game. So, like, this is the same thing. Like, you're paying more for less stuff, or like less editions of the game. Like, it doesn't make sense.
You brought it up now, so I'm gonna bring up this story just because you mentioned it. This comes from IGN. Crystal Dynamics released a new roadmap for Avengers that confirms Spider-Man and its first raid are coming this year, 2021. Dan, so
Yes.
just straight up, quick clarification: is Spider-Man not timed exclusive? Is it just straight up console exclusive?
As far as anyone knows, it is a straight up exclusive. It's not timed at all. It is 100% PlayStation exclusive.
Okay, now I understand the outrage.
Yeah.
I did not get it for a while. I was like, oh, Xbox used to do the same thing for Call of Duty. Like, it'll come to Xbox pretty soon. Yeah. Oh, it's only on PlayStation? Okay, now it's a cause for concern. I get it now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's one thing that I didn't like about Destiny, where 1 year exclusivity, but I also understood it made sense marketing wise. Spider-Man is not that, though. Like, it's not timed, so it kind of, it does suck.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big character, too. Like, Spider-Man is beloved by so many people. There was a new movie trailer for Spider-Man that is now the biggest trailer debut ever. Yeah. So, like, of course people want to play as him in a video game. That said, does anyone play Avengers here? Ro, have you dabbled in Avengers at all?
Yeah, I played the Black Panther DLC War for Wakanda when it released, and I enjoyed it. It was really good. I thought it was a good addition to the game. I think they added some really good improvements in that patch. But just like Dan was saying, it's totally unfair to the Xbox players and the PC players as well, that they just don't get this character. And when you look at that roadmap, sure, it looks like it's filled with a lot of stuff, but when you remove the stuff that's exclusive and when you remove the stuff that technically isn't new, there's not a lot on there, actually. There's just there's the raid, and I'm speaking for people who don't get Spider-Man. There's the raid, and then there's like a one new event, I think. And the rest are like improvements and returning events that existed before. There's not a lot for people who don't get Spider-Man. So I think that's really something that they need to look into and hopefully fix. I hope, like you said, Dan, I think Spider-Man is an exclusive to PlayStation. I hope someday other people get it, and I think that would be for the better of Crystal Dynamics to do something like that. But yeah.
Well, and the other problem with that also, with that being exclusive, is like I feel like that's holding back from them opening up crossplay as well, which that game of any game that needs crossplay, that game's probably a game that needs it because the population's not very high. So it's interesting.
You guys remember when people were mad at PlayStation players on Destiny for having Hawkman?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. I do. Well, and that was, I guess, not to go on a Destiny thing, but that was my biggest.
Let's go to Destiny. Let's go.
Yeah, because that was my biggest frustration with Destiny. I loved Destiny in the Destiny 1 days and even the early Destiny 2 days, and still love it now, but I just don't play it. That was my frustration, was you're getting this PlayStation exclusive content a year after it came out on PlayStation, but when it came out that year later, it was irrelevant. The content literally didn't match up because Bungie increased the light level and did not increase the subsequent light level of those weapons that were PlayStation exclusive. So you're getting weapons and content that literally doesn't help you.
Yeah.
I think we can agree that deals like this that literally gatekeep players on different consoles just kind of suck in general at this point. Like,
yeah,
let's leave that behind in the PS3 era.
Agreed.
Moving on, we've got another story I'm pulling from Eurogamer. Sega is reportedly investigating issues for a potential patch after Sonic Colors Ultimate players report numerous bugs and glitches. Guys, have you seen any of these videos that people have been posting on Twitter?
I have not.
I have, yeah.
It is Dan, I definitely recommend you look up some Sonic Colors Ultimate videos because it is insane how broken this game is. It
What?
goes from being like psychedelic trippy to like you can't play the level at all because you're falling through stages and there's like the audio is just screaming at you. You can't
Yeah.
see anything. It's
Sonic
nuts.
T-posing everywhere. It's just it's not right. It's not right.
I'm watching some right now as you guys are talking. What the heck is going on here? Like,
Yeah, there's like there's if you recommend somebody to watch it, you have to also warn them that's potential seizure warnings with the crazy colors.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
yeah, it's nuts.
yeah, that's a great point. Like that, these colors are going freaking nuts, like flashing like crazy. You're gonna end up giving someone an epilepsy from seeing this. This is insane.
Yeah. It's so sad because I remember people being very excited for this ultimate reboot, including myself, because I haven't played Colors yet, and I've heard that this is one of the better ones, one of the better Sonic games, and I just want Sonic to get a win. Please let Sonic have a win. And when this was coming, I was like, oh, this is going to be good for the community. People are going to enjoy this update, and this happens. So hopefully they do a good job with the patch, and it does help regain a bit more of goodwill, I guess. But from what we've seen so far, it's not looking good.
Too little, too late. Why that game was like why they let it release like this in this condition is beyond me. I mean, I get that at some point you have to put games out, but when it's unplayable like this and it's like hasn't passed what I would consider like certification, right? If it's like in this state, why not just delay a version of the game is just kind of beyond me, because now people are legit like upset that this is the version of the game they're playing when other versions of that game are at least better or playable.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if it's better on it's on PC too, right? Yeah. I think the general consensus is don't play it on Switch if you are going to play it. But yeah, I don't know if it's better on PC. I think it is, but still, it shouldn't be bad on Switch.
From what I've seen on Twitter is that other platforms, like there's still like minor glitches, but it isn't anything game breaking as like the Switch version. So
Right.
Sega, please do better.
Please.
Oops, I threw in a separate or the same thing twice, so let's ignore that for now. Moving on. We've got some sad news. This happened just a few days ago. Actor Michael K. Williams has died at the age of 54. Gamers may recognize him as the man behind Battlefield 4 and 2042's recent live action. I think it was CG or live action. I couldn't quite tell. He played Irish in the series, and so legendary actor and man. I'm gonna miss him. Like he was awesome. Very sad to
see him. Yeah, definitely a sad story for sure. I as you guys know, I haven't played Battlefield and really been into the community until this new one that's coming up. But I definitely saw that Battlefield 4 cinematic as well with him in it. And yeah, he was a great actor. I've seen a lot of the movies that he's acted in, and yeah, it is definitely sad to see him go.
The craziest thing from him, like in Battlefield 4, was how much he showed his emotion, which I loved that. Like you have certain actors that like cash in their performances. He definitely did not do that at all, and yeah, it's awful. Definitely, he will be missed immensely. A lot of great stuff that he did.
I think in the article that you... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was going to say in the article that you shared, I think I read that he was invited to be on Gamertag Radio, and he was just like all for it. He's like, I think what's his name, Danny, was like, yeah, he just loved video games, man. He just liked being a part of it. So again, like you both said, it's sad to see a legend leave. Yeah.
Yeah, and to Dan's point, one of the reasons why Battlefield 4, the campaign I liked so much was because of Irish's by Michael K. Williams' performance. I don't know if they had any other cinematics planned for the 2042 campaign or leading up to it, I guess, because I know they had the one. I don't know if they were doing any more. But if they do, like, I would love to see if Williams is still in any of the other material. Otherwise, yeah, rest in peace to a legend for sure. Moving on, we got some other news. This comes from Tripwire Interactive on a post on Twitter. The previous CEO of Tripwire Interactive has stepped down after facing backlash for supporting Texas law that bans abortion. This was huge that day when I didn't even write his name down, and probably that's for the better. I'd probably say when he tweeted out his position on this, people in droves from the industry came out and was like, "Hey, dude, like this is not okay. This is like pretty much like unethical what you're supporting here." And I don't want to put my foot in my mouth here and be like everyone should believe this one thing, but I think consensus generally is that what they passed in Texas is leaning towards unethical. And so if it doesn't fall in line with what Tripwire believes as a company, then having the CEO step down is I think the right move.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel I agree everything you're saying, Christian, and I do think it was the right move. And again, like you're saying, if you don't agree, then that's fine. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is that if you don't agree, you don't have to share these opinions. If I don't know why not everyone, but certain people have the need to just share these like stupid ideas and expect nothing to happen. Like I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. The stuff that's happening, the law that was passed in Texas is crazy to me. I don't understand how someone could be on the other side of that. But again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's just if you're sharing it, then expect the consequences from sharing the opinion. So yeah, you don't have to. Not everything needs to be shared. If you just keep it to yourself sometimes.
So
let's keep Twitter to our Marvel takes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Tripwire. I don't even know who Tripwire Interactive is, by the way. I don't even know what they've developed in the past. But yeah, this is interesting. I think at the end of the day, like this isn't something that you need to put out on Twitter. Like at the end of the day, abortion is like a very, very complex subject, we'll call it. I'll say like it's not something you can just tweet out and say like here's my opinion on this. Like there's many layers to it, there's many issues with it, there's like on both sides. Like there's two very passionate sides that they don't step back and like look at it logically. Like they just here's my opinion, I'm gonna insta tweet it out and not even care about like how this is impacting other people that are reading this or people that work for me, because he is a CEO of the company. Like you do have to be very mindful of that. Like you don't have to agree with everyone, but you have to like be mindful of how what you're saying is impacting other people. Like, and I think that's, in my opinion, that's the biggest takeaway from this is like, you just have to be mindful of what you're saying, like, because that impacts other people. Like what you guys are saying is absolutely true, and like there's so many ethical issues and so many problems with this that you just have to be mindful of it.
Yeah, especially when you're CEO, Dan. You put it perfectly. Like, yeah, you're speaking on behalf of not just yourself but everyone who works for you. So yeah, absolutely. Moving on, we've got some cool news, I think. Alan Wake Remastered is confirmed and launching later this fall on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and S. Guys, have you played the Alan Wake series at all? And my next question is, should I play it?
Yes, and yes. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know if they announced if this is going to come with the American Nightmare expansion, because that was like kind of I guess it was a standalone Xbox Live Arcade game that kind of expanded on Alan Wake. So I don't know if that's included with this, but yes, I would absolutely recommend it. It's kind of just like it messes with your head, Christian. So like it's not.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not your traditional like horror game or anything like that. It messes with your head, and you're like, what the heck's going on? And I really like it. And have you played Quantum Break, Christian?
No, but I want to, and I
Okay.
know how to there's like the hybrid like TV show thing that ties into the game, so that's neat.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just gonna say it's very similar to that in terms of like the gunplay and that kind of thing. They're both Remedy games, so obviously there's gonna be some similarities there. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. It's very cool and psychological thriller.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Control, so and I know they did the DLC like that tied into kind of Alan Wake stuff, and I was like, man, I really need to play Alan Wake, so now I'll be able to do so. How about you, Ro? Are you interested at all in the Alan Wake franchise?
I'm definitely interested to try the remaster because I haven't played it as well. But I am a Remedy fan as well. I love Control, Quantum Break. I was one of the people who actually enjoyed that game and liked the TV series and everything about it. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see the remaster. I did try to play it on Game Pass a while ago. I think it was on Game Pass a while ago, Alan Wake, or maybe I bought it. I don't remember. But my PC was just not having it for some reason. So hopefully I'll be able to play this on PlayStation whenever it comes out. So definitely interested.
Nice. Feels like the year of the remasters, sort of, and like I'm here for it. Like all the remasters we're getting, like I'm all about. So maybe except for Sonic Colors Ultimate, but
Right.
What about
Yeah.
GTA 5 for the 7th time?
okay, never mind. I take this back. I take back this conversation. Moving on. Yeah, we'll do it now. Life is Strange 2 True Colors reviews have rolled in today. Embargo lifted at 9 a.m. this morning, and they are mostly positive, not without some of its criticisms, and that is totally valid. I can't wait to see for myself. Otherwise, Ro, I know you're a big Life is Strange fan. What did you think when you saw the reviews this morning?
Let's freaking go. I'm so excited to play this. Like it's coming out tomorrow at midnight, so I guess Friday morning. Definitely staying up to play that and get started on it. And as I tweeted, I think you guys both saw the tweet that I haven't played a game to completion in a while. And there's a lot of reasons that go into that, whether it's not hooking me, how I'm feeling in general. But I think Life is Strange is the perfect game that I need right now that I could just enjoy the story, make my choices, and enjoy the emotions and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely excited to dive into that. And all the reviews, even if it was negative, I mean, maybe I wouldn't be so hot on it if it were negative, but even if it were negative, I would still be excited to finally jump into this game. So I'm excited to see people enjoying it, though.
So, Ro. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Dan. Go ahead. Go first. Go first.
I have a question for you. If you haven't played, okay, so I played a tiny bit of the first Life is Strange. If you haven't played the other ones, is this a good starting point? Like, I don't know where this happens in the story and that kind of stuff.
I think it is a good starting point. I think you'll be fine. There's obviously going to be some Easter eggs for people who played the game and characters like Steph, who was in Before the Storm, like showing up and stuff like that. But from what I've heard and from what I know about the series, that this is a pretty good place to start. And if you haven't completed other games, you could totally jump in. I think it's like a good standalone story. Like even Life is Strange 2 was like, you could play that if you haven't played the first one too. So yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, Dan, to echo that, from my understanding is that all these stories are kind of isolated and there's just small Easter eggs here and there. Yeah. Whether or not Deck 9 and or who's the other studio that did the first Life is Strange? Don't Nod. If they do some kind of universe where they all meet, then that'd be a separate conversation, right? But otherwise, I think you'd be good to go. I looked up the release date for True Colors because I know there was some wonkiness there. I know you said midnight. I'm not sure if that's correct. Apparently, according to their Twitter, it's a morning release on the 10th, so it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast and noon on the East Coast there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, that's sad.
Which is kind of strange. You don't normally see a morning release date.
I say that's weird, but then I looked at Halo Infinite's time that it releases on its release date, and it's like 3 p.m. or something. And I'm like, what the heck? What? When is this a thing?
So I'm on their Twitter now, and they tweeted this today. and it says
Okay.
like New York at which would be my time zone, Eastern time. It says 12 EDT, September 9th.
Yeah, perfect. That's noon.
That's noon.
So
Okay.
noon tomorrow.
Noon tomorrow. Okay. Oh yeah, because they have military time here. Okay, yeah. All right.
Oh.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds
Oh,
good.
nice.
Awesome.
So I'll have to finish Hades tonight. Okay.
Even better.
Spoilers for, I guess, games we're playing. Moving on. This comes from PlayStation. This dropped today. Liverpool studio Fire Sprite joins the PlayStation Studios family. Fire Sprite is previously best known for The Playroom as well as Persistence over on PSVR, and they're most likely working on a PSVR 2 title. Some more tidbits here. They currently have over 250 employees at their studio, which is bigger than Media Molecule as well as London studio combined.
Wow.
And they're working supposedly on multiple games. They're hired for a multiplayer shooter and dark narrative blockbuster adventure. I very much look forward to what they'll eventually do, presumably for PSVR 2. Any thoughts here, guys? Dan, on Fire Sprite joining PlayStation?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and it definitely gives Sony a first-party studio that's working on PSVR. I think that was maybe their biggest weakness in terms of platforms was PSVR in terms of first-party, because I can't really think of anyone else that's first-party that's worked on a PSVR title. Maybe I'm not thinking of everyone, but Sony Japan maybe made a couple.
Team Asobi,
Yes.
They weren't first party yet, but they did Astro, and then London Studio did that heist game that I'm blanking on.
Gotcha. Yes. So
Otherwise, yeah.
definitely will diversify their portfolio quite a bit and give them a little bit more VR action there. Obviously, with PSVR 2, they're going to want to have like that killer app or a couple things to show. So I'm sure that one of these titles that they're working on will probably launch with PSVR 2, I would think. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think still what I want to see from Sony's first party acquisitions, which they still haven't announced, I think, Blue Point officially. There was that leak.
Oh, we'll get there
came
in
out.
topic of the show. Don't worry. Don't worry. Dan.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll wait. I'll wait for those thoughts then.
Dang, I feel bad for interrupting now. I kind of wanted to see where that was going.
Oh, you're good. No, we'll push that off.
Okay. Otherwise, Ro, how about you? What do you feel about Fire Sprite joining PlayStation?
Yeah, I think I just echo pretty much what Dan said, and I am excited to see what new stuff comes to the VR. And yeah, it's just always exciting in general to see a new studio emerge and see what potential they could bring to the company they're working for. So I'm excited to see what they got up their sleeves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to echo Dan. Like, by far, it seemed like PSVR titles, like, they were there, but if you weren't totally invested in that ecosystem, like, those titles just kind of flew by. And I agree. Like, they need like killer apps for PSVR 2. And so far from what I'm seeing, they're kind of setting themselves up to be like, listen, we're actually invested in this platform, and we see it as something that's viable. So I hope to see some really cool games come to that platform, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it's cool. It's cool. Moving on to some Microsoft news. Dan, I saw you added this today. Microsoft is adding DLI to existing Xbox One and Elite Series 2 controllers. Tell me more about this.
Yes, I thought this was cool because this is actually a technology that they have in the Series S and X controllers. Of course, the dog starts squeaking when I start talking about this. But yeah, it's apparently going to enable this firmware update for the old Xbox One controllers that, all the way back to the launch Xbox One controllers, that gives you quicker input latency to your console. So this is only if you have a Series S or X. So if your Xbox One controller is still connected to your Xbox One, this isn't going to affect anything. But if you have a Xbox One controller connected to a Series X or S, it will increase or decrease the latency between the console and the controller, which doesn't sound like it's that much, But I will tell you, I went back and played my Xbox One X in my bedroom one day because I didn't feel like getting out into my living room. I was like, oh, I'm just going to lay around in bed today. And I played for about 5 minutes and I'm like, nope, I can't do this. For some reason, like the latency is there. And that's partially because my TV in my bedroom has more input latency as well. But anyways, I'm just getting really stupid about this whole thing. But yes, I just love that it's a feature that they're bringing to old controllers to, make a better experience on Series S and X. And if you play between like PC and Xbox or like mobile and Xbox, like if you play Game Pass on your phone or something, there's a double tap you can press on the sync button that they are also enabling where you switch between Bluetooth and the Xbox. Because before it was very unintuitive switching between the two. You had to like power off the controller, power back on, resync it up. It was a pain in the butt. So this update also fixes that issue as well. So, yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. I actually was just thinking the other day about how cool the Xbox controller is. Like, I mean, the Duke was big, but I was also like smaller at the time. I was a kid. But like now holding I don't even know what controller this is, but I bought thinking this Series X controller. I'm not sure if it actually is or not, but like
does it have
comfy.
a share button?
I love it. It does.
It is a Series X controller.
There we go.
Yes.
Very nice. I like it. What is this?
That is
Xbox One, I guess.
That's Xbox One controller.
Xbox One controller, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're nice. I like it.
I guess the next step for me is to probably get an Elite controller, but that's a bit too out of my price range, I think, for just me playing PC games.
You know what? I have the perfect one for you to get, Christian. The Halo Infinite Xbox Series X controller.
It's too much money.
Super affordable.
Yeah. It's only $200, You just have to take out a loan to buy it,
It took me like years to finally get the Pro controller. I don't know if I'll strap in for the Elite quite yet, even though that I won't lie, that Elite controller is pretty sexy. I will admit.
Yes, it is nice. It is nice.
Bro, any thoughts on DLI before we move on?
No. I just think it's really cool. Like you said, I think it's awesome that they're doing this. Xbox making awesome moves all the time, consumer friendly stuff. So I love to see it. I love to see it.
Big same. In that case, we're at the final story of the day. BioWare is reportedly considering a switch back to Unreal for the next Mass Effect. I totally missed this as well. Dan, can you tell me more about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much in the title. So,
sure.
BioWare obviously switched to Frostbite engine, which is DICE's specific engine they use for Battlefield. For whatever reason, EA at the start or in the middle of last generation told all of their developers, you all have to use Frostbite. Stupidest decision I've ever seen in my entire life, because DICE obviously understands the Frostbite engine and knows it from ground up because they built it. Like, that's their engine. Yes. Like, why would you force upon an engine to teams that have never worked on it before? And that was the problem we were seeing with the sports games, which they used a completely different engine before, but now they use Frostbite. You saw it with Mass Effect, with the weird animations we got with Mass Effect Andromeda, and like the weird facial stuff, and like everything was just really weird. Like, it just didn't seem right. And so, yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is a very good decision for BioWare to go back to Unreal Engine, because it's literally what they know. And Unreal Engine is the most popular engine out there besides maybe like Unity or something like that. And there's tons of developers that utilize it. There's tons of resources for developers. There's tons of developers that know how to use that engine that you hire in to your studio to work on it. So, yeah, it makes much more sense for them to do this. Absolutely.
I think that's only going to lead to, I think, probably better games. I think, which is like the bottom line for why we want to see teams using this, but also just developers probably happier that they're able to use software that they're more comfortable with. And like, you're right, like Unreal is definitely one of the most ubiquitous softwares that like developers use. So yeah, this switch can only mean good news for incoming games over at BioWare for sure. How about you, Ro? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing this. And that they are allowed to do this. That they're allowed to be making the switch and just make Mass Effect in a more comfortable environment for the developers, as you said. Obviously, this may mean that this Mass Effect is even further out now, but at the end of the day, that's good for us because it means it's going to be a better product when it does release. And I think Mass Effect, more than any of the BioWare franchises, needs as much time as it can get. So when it comes out, it gets some praise because that's a franchise that's kind of middling right now, as not as hyped as it used to be. But yeah.
I mean, people love the collection, but that kind of came and went in terms of like mindshare. I played the first one, and I was like, I got my feel for now. I'll come back to the second one, and then I totally forgot about it until like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Guys, this puts us to our segment. What are we playing? Dan, I want to know. Are you playing any games?
I've been slacking.
MCC?
I've been slacking very much. I have been playing the MCC Insider, which is the flight for Season 8. It's the early testing they're doing for Season 8. They haven't announced the release date yet, but that is super fun. We get a new map for Halo 3 yet again. This is the third brand new Halo 3 map that we're getting that didn't release in 2007, which just blows my mind that we get that. But it's a remake of a Halo 2 map called Turf, which is a beloved map from Halo 2. Super fun to play. Absolutely love it. It's like a ice box, arena. It's like chilly environments and icicles and such. So very, very much loving that. And lots of other good stuff coming to the next season of Master Chief Collection, which is quite possibly the most underrated game ever right now. So
Ever right now.
yes, ever right now. Yeah, I know that's a stupid comment, but like nobody talks about how much awesome stuff they're doing with that game. I don't know.
It is impressive. Like they do cater to their audience like really well, from my understanding and from what you talk about it. So I do love to see that.
Yeah.
I'm also really lame, and when I heard chilly environment, I went straight to the Mario Odyssey level where you're cooking. Like that's like everything's food related. So I'm lame. Ro, how about you? What are you playing this week?
Oh man, I know last week I said, hey, I'll play a lot more games. I'll tell you guys about Craftopia and all that stuff, and I didn't do any of that, and I'm sorry. I apologize. Life has been crazy, and as I mentioned about Life is Strange earlier, games have just not been, the thing that I am going to right now to like get out of my funk. I've been drawing a lot more instead of gaming, and that's just how it's been. So I've been playing Destiny, of course. That you can never get me off of that. I'm enjoying the season, and I hate Mara Sov. She's a character that I loved, but I realized the only reason I liked her was because she was pretty, and she's actually a horrible person. She's terrible, and she doesn't deserve all the love that she's getting, the way that she's treating her once brother, and yeah. Mara Sov, no.
Oh, that's that queen.
The queen, yes, absolutely.
Oh, man, she was pretty. I remember. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But the way she's acting this season is like royalty does, I guess. Maybe I just don't like royalty. But yeah, I'm loving the season so far. I'm enjoying the dialogue and stuff like that. And the seasonal activity is really cool, and I like the space that they've developed for it. And I'm just excited to tell you more about Destiny next week, but I'm more excited to tell you guys about Life is Strange, and that's a promise. I will play Life is Strange no matter what, and I will tell you guys about it next week, definitely. So there'll be something besides Destiny on the menu next week, for sure.
Perfect. Much like Ro, last week I said, like, yeah, I'm either going to play Lake or
Road 96.
Gosh, Road 96. And I let chat decide. I was like, yeah, go play Lake. And I was like, sweet, I'm gonna buy it and download it tonight. And then I didn't do that. And instead, I waited 2 days to download Hades on Game Pass. So I don't know. I was feeling Hades. And you know what? I would agree with you up until last night. The game did something that was like so freaking cheap, in my opinion. I don't want to say what, but it was incredibly frustrating. And like for sure, I'll probably go back to it because the gameplay is so good. The dialogue is amazing. There's a reason why it was nominated for Game of the Year, right? But that said, honestly, I'll probably beat it the one time. I will not go back and beat it 9 more times to get the true ending. Like once is enough for me. I've put in so many hours to this freaking game. I'm ready to be over it, and done with it. But
I want to
yeah,
hear
we'll
what
see.
the cheap thing was later, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to know now? I mean, that game's been out for a while.
Sure, yeah.
Do you guys
can
care?
always fun.
No,
I don't
go for
care.
it.
I beat it, yeah.
You beat it?
I beat it once too, so I haven't. Yeah.
Oh, okay, dude.
Yeah.
How? Because I finally managed to. Oh my god, dude! It was such a long run. I got
Yep.
Hades down to like that sliver of health, and he's like, "All right, you got me." And it's like, okay, I guess the
Yeah.
game is gonna end here, and I'll
And
have
then
to fight him a bunch of
Gets
times.
back up.
And he gets back up with full
Yep.
health, and that like you go for phase 2, and it's like, dude, it was so much work just to get you down to this amount of health.
Yep.
I got to do it again.
Yep.
And it, like,
I
that
have
fight
a feeling that was the
yeah.
moment that you're talking about.
That was
Yeah.
indeed, and then I died. Like I maybe got him to halfway health, and I was like, "Fuck you, I'm going to bed." I know I don't normally cuss on this show, but fuck you, Hades, I'm going to sleep.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh,
I say
mean, it's a good game.
yeah, it's good. I think it's worth it to beat him just for the pure satisfaction of beating him after what he just did to you. But I think what happens after is worth it too. So I say
Okay.
stick with it. Yeah.
I hate when games do that. When you beat the
Me too.
boss and then they're like, "Oh, here's another health bar."
Yeah.
No.
Dude.
Especially
the
when it's
choir
hard
right
to
now.
get down the first bar. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
I was sweating last night, but that's enough Hades talk. Moving on to topic of the show. Tomorrow, if you're unfamiliar, PlayStation is hosting a showcase at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. The showcase will be about 40 minutes long and will include updates from PlayStation Studios on games releasing this holiday season and beyond. Further, no VR will be featured in the showcase. So just PlayStation Studios on, I'm assuming, this big boy right here. You can't see, it's off screen. I don't know why I pointed. The PS5 is right next to me.
Okay.
So I went ahead and did a table because we haven't done this in a while. And I want to hear 5 predictions from each of us. Whether you want them to be wild predictions or just kind of safe bets, that's up to you.
Okay.
I mean, the wilder the better, let's be real. But otherwise, yeah, I want to hear what those are. And who would like to go first?
So I'll start because this is a stupid prediction. It's a terrible prediction, but I feel like this is a decent shot of being there. GTA 5's next gen version, I think we'll get a look at it there because they have a long-standing partnership with Rockstar on Red Dead and GTA 5 actually on PS4 as well, or PS3, PS4. I don't even remember. Whatever console it was that they had a partnership on. So yeah, I think we could see that new version of GTA 5 and I'm sure it'll look good and they'll advertise the free-to-play online mode that you get with PS Plus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely wouldn't
good,
be surprised if GTA 5 is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They love showing that game off.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, why don't you go next?
Okay.
You're not going to put us on the
yeah.
spot here, by the way, so I'm going to apologize.
No
Good.
problem. I actually wrote down a couple earlier today just in case. But one of mine, I don't know how plausible this is, but I remember earlier this year, Atlas announced the 25th anniversary of Persona. And they said, yeah, we've got a bunch of announcements for the Persona series, and one of them is supposed to be taking place this month. So maybe, just maybe, their announcement is going to be at the PlayStation Showcase. I don't know what that'll be. It's definitely not a Persona 6. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a tease for Persona 6. That would be crazy. I don't see that happening, but that would be crazy. That's my pie in the sky. I hope that happens. But maybe they have a collection on the way. Maybe they bring P3 Fez and Persona 4 Golden, and maybe the first 2 as well in like a nice little bundle on PlayStation. I think that would be really cool, especially for me who has not played P3 yet, and I would love to. So yeah, I can definitely see whatever the Persona announcement is being at PlayStation's thing tomorrow.
I love that. That's nice. That's something that I haven't seen people talk about, like Atlas showing up. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Look at you, Ro. My first prediction is going to circle back to something Dan was talking about earlier when we were talking about Fire Sprite. he mentioned Blue Point. I think this is finally the time that we announce. This is why I think Fire Sprite was announced today as a studio, is that we make some time for Blue Point to finally be announced as a first-party studio tomorrow. Very cool announcement, and we anchor that announcement with a look at their next game coming to PlayStation.
What do you think that is, Christian?
It's a Metal Gear Solid game.
I hope so. That would be awesome.
But Danny, I know you were talking about this. I brought it up now just so you could finish those thoughts from earlier. I wanted to hear those.
So I will make my next prediction knowing full well that it's probably not going to happen because they would have already announced it beforehand, like what they did with the Fire... what's it called? What's the developer called?
Fire Sprite.
They would have announced it with them, but I would like to see Sony acquire someone that is kind of not in their wheelhouse, so to speak. So like Sony's wheelhouse is absolutely like a third-person action adventure game. Like you could literally define probably 75% of Sony's first-party games as a third-person action adventure like game. Like I mean, Last of Us, Uncharted, Spider-Man, literally God of War, almost all of their big, visceral story-based games are all the same style. I would like to see them go after a developer that does something very different to their portfolio because I want to see them, expand what they work on. Like Microsoft, for better or worse, obviously their developers aren't necessarily on the same level as Sony's developers right now in terms of like storytelling and visuals and all of that. But like Microsoft's diversity in their portfolio is insane. Like you have a flight simulator, you have like a RTS with Halo Wars or Age of Empires, you have FPSs like Halo, you've got a third-person shooter with Gears. Like there's so many different like diverse adventure or diverse genres that they kind of run the gambit of in the entire industry, which I like. So I want to see more of that diversity coming from PlayStation as well.
I agree. A lot of it seems like there's a bell curve of PlayStation games, and that bell curve is mostly third person action adventure, and there's the games obviously on the outliers like your Gran Turismos, your Kinas, which will we see tomorrow? We'll see. But I would love to see some diversity in the portfolio for sure. What I missed in the beginning, was there a prediction there, like an official prediction from you in that beginning?
A new first-party studio announced, either acquired a first-party studio or a brand new studio that they're starting from the ground up to fulfill like a new niche in their portfolio, is what I was thinking.
New first-party studio, whether acquired or,
yes,
I guess established.
Yes.
That is indeed bold. I love it. Ro, I put this to you. Your second prediction here.
Okay, this one might be a bit more, maybe a bit more obvious, I guess, but I can definitely see it not happening as well. But Naughty Dog is there, and they're showing off The Last of Us Remastered.
Oh,
yeah, giving us a little tease of that game that I don't know why they're doing, but they're doing. But and it's there, and they show it off, and I've heard some like leaks as well that probably aren't real about a DLC called Brotherly Love. I don't think that's real. I think that was a fake thing.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, like I didn't even read into it. I just saw the title. I was like, okay, maybe a Tommy and Joel DLC, which is something I have dreamed about since beating the first game. That would have been just to see what those years were like, and that's something I would kill for over The Last of Us Remastered, definitely. But I could definitely see them teasing the remaster. And
wait, sorry, the remaster or the remake, like the official, like.
Oh, the official Naughty Dog remake thing that we talked about a while ago.
I'll do both, remake /
okay.
remaster, whatever it is.
All right, yeah, I can see them doing that, and I don't want to take someone else's prediction because that's my prediction for the Naughty Dog.
So wait, Tommy is his brother that dies at the start of The Last of Us, right?
No.
Whoa, what?
What
Game did you play?
Am I confused?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm confused.
Tommy's alive. He's still good. He's still kicking.
Okay, I'm dumb.
Yeah.
I get.
Tommy is the one underneath the green Spartan gear that you play.
Yes. Yeah.
He's Master Chief.
I've apparently forgotten The Last of Us completely. Oh, this is terrible. I apologize.
Ro, just a quick clarifying question. Not clarifying. I want to just throw something at you here, just
Yes.
because we're spitballing.
Gotcha. Yes.
When this, I guess, when and or if this remake / remaster is announced tomorrow, do we also get news or word on Tilu 2 finally coming to PlayStation 5? A la Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding.
Oh, like a director's.
Yeah.
cut?
Just
Oh
a
my
just
gosh.
a version of that game on PS5.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. If they announce The Last of Us Remastered, I think they could couple it with a PS5 version of The Last of Us 2. I could definitely see that happening. I don't know. That's a good question. Now that I think about it, I'm not. I think
I
my
wanna see what
predictions.
This guy's googling.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna stick with The Last of Us Remastered. Guess now. No, The Last of Us 2.
Oh no, sure. This was
PS5.
just like us
Oh,
talking.
okay.
It's not your official.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not writing that down.
Yeah. Then no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
What
up,
were you
Dan?
gonna say, Daniel?
I'm stupid, guys. I somehow put it in my brain, combined his daughter and Tommy, and I'm like,
as one person.
yeah, yep. I'm sorry.
okay.
I apologize to everyone. I
Came
love
out
The
all
Last of Us.
years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
Clearly, Dan.
Clearly, yeah. I still haven't played the sequel. I still haven't played Last of Us 2. What am I doing?
Wait for a PS5 version. That's fine. You're okay.
Here's the
my
thing.
neg-
I already own it, Christian. I already own it. I just haven't
No.
played.
Well, then you can pay $10 to get the upgrade.
Yeah. Maybe.
My second prediction is that good news, everyone. Don't worry. Bloodborne PS5 is finally happening. 60 frames per second,
Wow.
Whoa,
upscaled to 4K. Enjoy it.
people will be so happy.
Yes.
Yeah, including me.
Dan,
Dan.
I'm gonna go with a no-brainer one, even though I'm gonna throw a little wrench in it. But I think we'll get God of War's official title, because that still isn't confirmed, Ragnarok, and I don't think it's gonna be called Ragnarok based on what they've been saying. Because
I'm with you.
Yeah, they kind of correct people when people call it Ragnarok. They're like, no, we haven't named it. So I don't think it'll be called that, but who knows? But I also think they'll announce a release window of fall 2021. That's my prediction. And
This year?
Gameplay. Yeah, yes. Or no, I'm sorry.
2021.
No, sorry. Fall 2022. Sorry. I confused here I am. I'm confusing everything today. Fall 2022.
Okay, and then-
sorry.
And you said gameplay is shown as well?
Yes, gameplay as well. Yes.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, I was listening to PS I Love You, and they were talking about their predictions as well. And they talked about the God of War thing, and it is true that like the first time they showed that off, they showed off a lot of gameplay, and it was like 10 minutes worth of gameplay, and that was years before, like not years, but like 2 years, I guess, before the game actually came out. So I could definitely see what Daniel's putting down. Definitely could happen. Yeah.
I was with Dan up until you said gameplay. Otherwise,
It's like
I mean, I'll know. Let's be real.
We'll see. Well, wait a minute. Do you count? So, okay. Do you count like the in-engine stuff? Like, I think God of War, the first one, was originally shown off. I don't think they showed like live someone playing, but like they showed like
It was Cory Barlog playing live.
Oh, it was. Oh, well then maybe. Yeah. I think it will be that. I think it will be a similar thing to that.
You're nuts. I love it.
Yeah.
Ro, how about you? Third prediction.
Third prediction. This one's crazy, but I would love it so bad. But Spider-Man 2 is teased.
Oh.
Insomniac's there. They work quick, guys. The Ratchet and Clank, Miles Morales, just like spitting out these things left and right. They could do it if they wanted to. Spider-Man 2 was announced. They show off a little symbiote action going on. Like they tease that a little bit more. Potentially Norman Osborn is in the teaser trailer as well. Green Goblin. Yeah. very excited. I just want that game so bad, and I could definitely see them giving us a little teaser to close out the show. That's their closer. Yes.
If Spider-Man 2 is showing up at this event, like Insomniac is literally like
Very
god tier
nuts.
developer
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys heard, there's like rumors that supposedly a Resistance collection might
Oh,
be
yeah.
happening, supposedly.
That's-
But I feel like that's more speculation of fans just getting hyped than an actual rumor with any
Yeah.
like base
They're-
behind it. But
They're always teasing it on their Twitter, like or celebrating it, I should say, on their Twitter, like the anniversary and like, oh, Resistance 3 disc, look at that. And so I could definitely
Yeah.
see why people are thinking that. But yeah, that would be cool too.
okay, my next one is a smaller one here. I think Returnal is back for some DLC and just some a preview at the next big update that's coming for the game. Small one, small boy.
Okay. I'm gonna piggyback off of Rose's prediction, and I'm gonna say that Insomniac announces an expansion to Miles Morales instead, which will kind of hold people over until that inevitable Spider-Man 2 announcement that comes later. I think it's too soon for Spider-Man 2, but who knows? It is Insomniac, so we could see that. But I think a Miles Morales expansion would be equally as awesome, and people would be down for that. So, and coming soon too, like this fall maybe.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love that just as much.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great.
I'm getting excited just as we're talking. Like sometimes I'm too excited to type. I have to like rate myself. Like, Ro, how about
man.
yourself? Fourth prediction.
My fourth prediction. I'm trying to see what I should say next. Why not? Another Atlas prediction. There's a game called Project Refantasy that they talked about like I can't even tell you how long ago this was. It was a very, very long time ago. But they have recently announced that progress has been made, which is always good. On their game. Again, Project Refantasy is a name, and it's like it's an RPG by the Persona team. And I think they're gonna show it off. Maybe Atlas is there. If they're not showing off Persona, they're showing off Project Refantasy. A lot of these games, even the Persona one, maybe is better for TGS. Both of those announcements, I could definitely see Atlas making those kind of announcements there. But I know they're pretty close to Sony as well. So yeah, Project Refantasy is unveiled at the showcase.
I love it. And I just for clarification, I would, no matter what the game is called, I would probably give you that. Like if that did happen,
Right.
I would give you
Yeah,
the point.
it's probably not going to be
yeah.
called Refantasy. Yeah. Thank you though.
You guys took a few of mine, so now I'm like kind of struggling here. I don't have any more bigger ones. They're kind of
Which
smaller
ones did we take? I'm curious.
God of War stuff,
Okay.
Tlu stuff. I mean, we didn't even talk about the multiplayer, like if factions are
Yeah.
going to show up.
That's why that was part of my thing, but that's what I said. Like I didn't want to take anybody, so I didn't say factions. I just went with like remastered. But that was one of mine too.
You know what? I'm gonna do a bold one, and then I'll save my smaller ones just as our little extras, just to close out conversations. The ones that I won't count for points.
Okay.
For spoken gameplay is showing off,
Oh yes.
right?
That was on my list too.
I want to say coming September 2022.
Good. Yeah.
Wow.
I could see that. Oh man. That game looks so cool. I can't wait to see more of that.
Absolutely, dude. Dan, final one.
I have one more, yes. I think, and this is maybe another crazy one, but the return of SOCOM, which would definitely expand Sony's portfolio. And there are rumors that Guerrilla Games has a second team working on it. So, I mean, that would be a good developer,
Dude.
Bring back SOCOM. Rainbow Six has kind of went away from the whole tactical shooter aspect. So bring in SOCOM.
I'm dying over here, Dan. I want you to be right so bad. I love that. Awesome prediction. Ro, how about you? Your last one.
My last one. I'll also leave some small ones so that we could talk about at the end. But my last big one, I think, is going to be PlayStation finally revives one of their dead franchises. I don't want to, cover too many bases by naming a bunch, but I think it's going to either be maybe Jack and Daxter, maybe Sly Cooper is coming back. I'll go with Jack and Daxter to keep it, just there, not to be kind of cheating. But yeah, if not Jack and Daxter, something from PlayStation's like early history is making a return, in the form of a reboot akin to like Ratchet and Clank or something like that. Definitely hope to see that happen. That's a crazy one, but definitely would like to see something.
You say
like
that, but I legit had this written down on my list as well because
Awesome.
a lot of their marketing for this showcase is reminiscent of like PS2 like geometric graphics that I think that might be leaning into like maybe a PS2 game is coming back in some shape or form. So I would love you to be right.
Awesome. But yeah, I'll say Jack and Daxter makes a return, but I could definitely see a different franchise coming back too.
Which leads perfectly into my final prediction, which is surprise. Team Asobi isn't just working on a PSVR 2 title; they're also working on a PS5 game. And yes, guys, it's happening. Ape Escape is back. We have a new Ape Escape. Get ready to go ape. I don't know what I'm saying. Ape Escape is back.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow. Imagine if none of these happened tomorrow.
Why would you say that? It was.
I'm sorry.
Wait. I know how these all happen tomorrow. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2.
Oh man. Here we go.
I forgot to say this. I had that written down. Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Emmett is so mad at you and disappointed at you right now for not mentioning that.
Oh, when Ed Boon tweeted today about how he wants PlayStation All Stars to come back, I nearly threw up. Oh my god. Oh, Dan, hold my hand. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll rein it back in. There we have it. Those are our predictions for the show. Any honorable mentions for you guys before we close out?
I think that's everything I can think of, to be honest.
I did hear about this backwards compatibility talk with Gino on Twitter, as well as and Kevin Diaz from PlayStation Source. I was watching a little bit of his stream before we started, and he was talking about it, and he made some pretty good points too with the diamonds, of course, kind of being similar to the original orange diamond for the PlayStation 1. But also the super old PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 compatibility thing where there's literally room to insert PlayStation 2 and 3 and all that kind of stuff in the graphic, kind of like the Smash Bros thing. Like, you could put a character in there. It kind of looked like that. So maybe they announced backwards compatibility for more of their platforms. That would be really cool. And another one was they just show up Deathloop again because they just love showing off Deathloop.
Sure.
Yeah. Which that comes out soon, right?
I think so, yeah.
2 weeks, I think, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
But yeah, those are my leftovers.
Sure. Dan?
Yeah, I think that's it. That covers it for me. Deathloop comes out next week, September 14th.
Oh my god, you're right. Today's the 8th. Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
So many games.
Yes.
I had some extras as well. I still think Horizon Forbidden West gets another trailer here. Just market that game. I think it's probably going to be a story trailer. We've gotten gameplay. And I'll also get, 2 to 3 minute story trailer, right? Set the tone for that game. I think it's time we finally get a Gran Turismo release date. That game got pushed back, so give that game a date. And then I think my last one is that there's might be a chance of a Final Fantasy 16 trailer, another one. That's another look at that game. And then we just got the news of Final Fantasy coming to PlayStation Now. Be able to market PlayStation Now during the show, and then be like, speaking of Final Fantasy, here's another look at Final Fantasy 16. Who knows?
Yeah.
Before we close out the show, do we want to talk about the one supposed leak on tomorrow's showcase, or would you rather just not know about this?
Oh.
Ooh.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't mind either.
Okay. So supposedly, I don't know how they found out, and I didn't look at it because I was kind of bummed that I saw it because I would have loved to see this as a surprise. So fair warning if for anyone listening, if you don't want to know what's on the show tomorrow, just turn it off, I guess. Or maybe you already saw the show and like you're like, get on with it, Christian. Fine, I will. Supposedly, Ben's studio is working on a Men in Black game for PS5, which will be unveiled tomorrow.
I did see that.
Huh.
Yes. Yeah, I
That'll
think that
be
would be
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Which is certainly a surprise for me.
Yeah, I would not in a million years ever guess a Men in Black game is on the way. That's interesting.
Dude, yeah.
I think it's a little
So-
too soon for that, but who knows? Because
For Men in Black?
No, I mean for Ben, because Ben just wasn't that 2019 that they released Days Gone? Is that right?
I think it was 2018, but even still, like 3 years doesn't seem like a long time.
Gotcha.
But who
Well,
knows?
That'll be interesting. I would love to see what that looks like, a Men in Black game.
That would be interesting.
You know, actually, I want to check real quick before we close out the show. No, you're right, Dan. April 26th, 2019. So that does seem soon. Like to have something to show already, but who knows? Who knows?
True.
Guys, thank you again to everyone joining us both live and on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, me. My name is Christian. This has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Dan, say the tagline. I like when you say it.
Much love and keep on gaming.
Heck yeah. See ya.
Bye.